Hey everyone, how are we doing? I hope that we are doing well and that you're taking time to rest and self care. As you know, I'm a huge promoter of self care. This month, I release two reflective journals in honor of March month. So, March, we celebrate Social Work Month and we also celebrate Women's History Month. So, two momentous occurrences happening in this month. So here it is. This is my social work reflection journal. All right. So if you're a social worker, we're all about compassion and action. We promote justice. It's justice in practice, integrity, and service. So I'm just going to briefly go through some of the prompts. Now, if you're a social work student, this will definitely help you because it makes you reflect, it makes you self assess, and it also makes you ponder if social work is actually the career for you. I know I teach intro to social work, the introductory class, and one of the things that I usually do is ask students, is this career for you? Is social work for you? Why did you choose social work? Because sometimes students may choose social work because let's say they were in foster care and they had a social worker who was very good to them, and he or she inspired them and they want to be a social worker. That can be a good thing. But also, if you haven't done the work and got healed from your past trauma, your why you chose social work can actually re-traumatize you. So I always tell students, be sure of your why you got into social work. So here it asks why I chose social work and what initially drew me to social work, because it can help you self-reflect and figure out if this is actually the profession for you. It's a beautiful profession. I highly recommend it, but we want to come into it for the right reasons. So this is the table of contents telling you the prompts. All right, so as a social work student, as a social worker, this journal is good to make you self-reflect and self-assess. All right, so as I said, your why, the big question mark for our social work students. Why are we choosing social work? And then you got some pages to reflect on that. And then here it has some questions. So this question said, what initially drew me to social work? Was it personal experience? Was it passion for justice or mentorship? We know that mentorship is key. All right, so these can be several reasons why a person decides to go into the field of social work. Your professional identity, and this is ongoing because it changes, right? You may start out one way and then years of experience and you shift into a different direction. The identity is different. So what kind of social work am I becoming? The type of social work you may be coming in year one is not going to be the same in year 5. So this journal helps you to reflect. Ethics in action. A lot of things that happen in this profession cause you to reflect and self-reflect and, question yourself, is this ethical practice? All right, so here are some of the prompts. Some of these prompts are asking you to reflect on a time when you had to uphold ethics and it was challenging. Upholding ethics can be challenging, whether you're in the social work profession or any type of profession. So these are just prompts that's going to guide you as you journal advocacy and justice. So we work with underserved population, underserved groups. So here it asks you to reflect on system, power, and change. Systematic change, especially in a time such as this. Systematic change and the power imbalance can be challenging as a social worker, as a new social worker, moreover. So this one talks about your advocacy role. In social work, we know that advocacy is a key role. We advocate for change. We are change agents. All right, so some key prompts in this journal that is good for a new social worker or an old social worker. The size is a nice sizable, it's an 8x10, so it gives you good space to write. Right, nice sizable reflective journal. So like the social work journal, we have women's history. So this month we celebrate Women's History Month. Right here it talks about honoring the past, empowering the present, and inspiring the future. So in order to know where we're going in the future, it is important to know where you came from in the past. So here are your table of contents. It talks about honoring the woman who came before me, because there's always somebody that laid that ground foundation for you, laid the pathway. It could be your mom, grandma, grandpa, someone, but in this case we're honoring women. So the first space asks you to honor the woman who came before you. Of course, for me it would be my mom, my grandma. In one of my books I wrote about the first chapter talk about I am, and it asks you to reflect who you are. And I can recall saying that I am the woman who lived out the stories that my grandma only dreamed of, right? I talk about my grandma being beaten simply because she was a black woman. She was an Indian woman who decided to marry a black man, right? And certain things that I've accomplished, she only dreamed about. So she was one that came before me and actually set the foundation, and all of us have those. The unsung hero, I would say that my grandma was definitely an unsung hero, right? She laid the foundation, and then here I am many years ago later. Talks about your identity and your inner strength. What is your identity? What is your inner strength? A lot of times as women, we haven't tapped into that identity or tapped into that inner strength. So this portion helps you to reflect on that, to talk about that a little bit, about your power, your purpose, and your self-worth. Breaking barriers. We have to break generational barriers, right? Because they impact us and they hinder us. So we break them because we don't want them to pass on to our children and our children's children, right? So some very key things to reflect on. Writing your narrative, so you have to write your own story. You can't let somebody write your story for you, right? So rewriting your narrative, regardless of what society says, regardless of what somebody may say, you have to write your own narrative, regardless of your experience. Community and collective impact. So how are you impacting the community? How are you impacting change? It is, it's okay to talk, but then we need action as well, right? So issues that matter to me. So this is a nice sizable journal, gives you the option to reflect, not only during Women's History, but throughout the year. So these journals definitely cause you to self-reflect, self-assess, right? Give you good space to write. My personal legacy statement, that's important. So these journals are available on Amazon or on my website. They're $12.99 a piece, and if you're interested, you can proceed and get one. Right, so great sharing these with you. I hope you enjoy them. Take care and be well.